Smarterfan.
Everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan Podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How you doing, Barry?
Oh, I'm extra excited tonight, Joe. Woo! I've been working in the kitchen. I've been working.
Yeah, I know you got something cooking. So what you got cooking, man?
Well, as things would happen, my good friend, I got the opportunity to meet at church. An NFL agent.
Okay.
And didn't know he was that, but a player in the NFL. His story is fascinating, amazing, good brother. Good brother. I don't even want to start to talk about because he just has so many gems. And so his celebration, our 50th episode that we're extending to episodes, he agreed to be with us tonight and to talk with us and help us have a great and awesome show and share some things that people just don't know behind the scenes of sports and what goes on with athletes in the business of sport. So I had to do something, Joe. You've been beating me like 100-1. I had to do something. And so I hope I can score 1 point tonight because you're killing me. That's what I got for you.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely. So at this time, I think we have him, NFL agent, sports agent, Speed 21 he's the CEO of that company, Mr. Martez Brayboy. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Thank you.
Awesome. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. How about yourself? Living, good. So I can't complain about that part.
Absolutely. I'm just going to jump into it because I love talking to you, and we have some great conversations. Yes, and I've been dangling this in front of Joe. I'm cooking, Joe. He's like, "What you cooking?" So now that we got you, we're just going to jump into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be such a fun time. And Joe, fire away, my good buddy. Fire away.
Okay, so you started out as a player.
Yes,
so,
sir.
What was that about?
Well, as a youth, started playing football. Played football and basketball, multiple sports between tennis, golf. But I end up going. Being honest, I ended up going to college for football and track. I was a better basketball player, to be honest. But I was really unsure because I was undersized, not 6 foot, not 6'3", anything like that. So my college career as a football player, gathered the speed through track to be able to run a 4.39 40 by the time I was able to go and become pro. Gradually just got better at the game of football from college and got the opportunity to try out for a couple teams between arena because this is around the time they had IFL 1, IFL 2, AFL was still thriving. So it was around that time. So I got a chance to actually talk to and try out for a couple different teams and play for different teams and stuff like that. So that's kind of like got me into the professional going from college. Like every other youth, started off little league football and then just progressively got better at that sport and the ultimate level.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds great. So what made you want to be an agent?
It's funny, like I was telling Miss Coach Barry, it's a funny situation because I never thought I'd be an agent. I'm a coach. I actually do strength and conditioning at my school. I'm also multiple sports. I was a college coach for cross country in South Carolina. I've been doing so many coaching sports that I never thought I'd be an agent. So I got into agency. I came across one of my good teammates, he was on LinkedIn and he was saying he needed that agent. I knew he was looking at trying to get into the professional football league himself for so many years. And then I seen a post and he was saying, hey, I think I need an agent. And me going through the process I went through to try to become a professional athlete, especially at the ultimate level of the NFL, I was like, where you're at now, you don't really need an agent, because I didn't need an agent for myself. I really got myself into the eyes of the NFL teams like the New York Jets, where I actually had a combine there. So I was like, right now where you're at, I didn't believe he needed an agent. But it was a funny situation because I reached out to him. And the reason I felt like he didn't need an agent, because I had an agent myself, but I feel like I wasn't in the best care of my agent. So I can't kind of say, hey, I'm gonna help you out. So I'll give you my blueprint of how I got looked at by different teams, and maybe this will help you out some way. And it's funny, like I'm saying, the situation is funny because a couple of days went by, and my wife was like, "Why won't you just represent him if you're already helping him?" And I said, that's not a bad idea. So I reached out to him and said, hey, I can help you out and I can kind of be your agent, but I don't really know how to specifically be a certified agent. And he says, it's funny because my wife said, why don't you get him to be your agent? So it's kind of like it collided, that universe collided together where we actually agreed and said, hey, we're going to see how this happens. I'm going to see how I can go about it to become certified, to be able to represent you to the full extent. But also in the same aspect, let's see where this goes. And it started with one guy, and now I have 9 guys. It's pretty picked up within a year.
All right. Who do you represent?
Well, the 9 guys I represent. I represent guys that are in the AFL, IFL, AIF, overseas, and I have a couple other guys that are actually preparing. They're in the AFL right now, trying to finish up their season to prepare for the CFL and the NFL. So out of those 9 guys, I actually could have more. And like I was telling Coach Barry too, one thing about my agency is that I believe, of course, in quality compared to quantity. I have people that's always reaching out and need representation. Hey, I need I want somebody to get me here. And then they kind of like my story. They see my story of being a professional athlete. They see how I run my business, and they see how within 1 year I've had so many guys that's on my agency go to a team, and actually get to the eyes, get a contract, and get the opportunity to be a professional athlete. So me personally, like I said, quality over quantity. So the 9 guys, I could have 20, I could have 50 guys. But I wanted to start off by learning the business first before I go forward and actually try to get so many guys and overwhelm myself to the point where I can represent them to the full extent. So, yes, sir.
Wow. So how did we get you away from the NFL draft tonight?
It's actually I wasn't watching the NFL draft. I actually was cooking dinner for my father. He actually came here I'm in South Carolina currently at the moment. I'm on spring break from school, and I was watching to see like who was the first pick, second pick. I seen Chicago Bears. I seen they picked up Caleb. So, I was nitpicking, like, trying to check out the show, but I wasn't the time to spend time with my father at the moment. So that's kind of like where is that? And then he ended up leaving right before the podcast. So I was like, perfect timing, because he knew I had the podcast and things like that. And so he was like, I'm gonna roll out. So got a chance to spend time with family. So that's kind of like the reason why. And plus this is, like you said, 50th episode coming through. So hey, be here, than anywhere else.
We appreciate you.
Most definitely, I appreciate you.
So, do you do financial planning for your clients?
Financial planning. I do not do financial planning, but I do have a representative at a financial institution that once these guys get into a big amount of money, let me take that back. Actually, I have a financial planner that's going to work with them at the little bit of money, and I'm all that up together at the moment. The first year I was kind of, more in how can I get certified? How can I represent them in the different leagues? Now it's getting to a different aspect of the game where NFL contracts are about to come into perspective, 3% for the agent, all these different aspects of the game where, of course, they're going to need a financial planner. I'm currently working on my MBA at Eastern University, so I could be more of that financial planner and keep everything in house. But for the moment, I'm going to do a financial planner outsourcing and getting these guys prepared. So when the big time money comes in, they'll be prepared for that, to have the, legacy building, to be able to have the money management, to be able to not spend all their money and go bankrupt.
Yeah.
A lot of other athletes go through that, process. So
yeah, definitely.
yes, sir.
So yeah, it's so you don't deal with NILs or anything like that?
Not at the moment. I started bits and pieces learning more about it from an aspect of how can I get my guys to get into NIL positions, but a lot of the contracts kind of conflict with them receiving the NIL, especially at the team they're at, because they automatically contractually have the permission. Let me see how to say it. They already, as the contracts, especially for some of these arena leagues, they have to go and do certain things and not get paid for it. They have to go and say, hey, we're going to go and we're going to have a community service, and you're not going to get paid for this, your likeness, your representation. And once you sign that contract, you're saying that. I've had only one situation where I've had an athlete actually sign his contract, and he kind of had an NIL deal where he would be paid for appearances. But general athletic contract for the AFL, IFL, AIF, or really any other league, they have to actually just appear, and they're not going to get paid for that unless it's some specialty and the team really wants them, and they're like, hey, we're going to do some extra. But a generic, no. So that's kind of like the difficulty of it when I'm dealing with the arena leagues. And once we get into more of CFL, once we get into NFL, now we can talk a different language and have a different conversation.
Okay. So now, do you have to be a lawyer to be an agent?
Not at all. I thought so too. I thought you could be a lawyer. No, you could be Johnny from down the street and become an agent. It depends on how good of an agent you're going to be. How are you going to be able to get the teams to look at your clients? But no, you're going to have to know how to read. Of course, you're going to have to have literacy. Of course, you're going to have to be able to break down a contract. And I have a law background, so that's kind of has been an advantage for me. I came from justice, so I used to do documentations for prosecutors and attorney's office. So from that background, I was able to, make the different documents and make the legal proceedings or whatever. So very fine print, attentive to what they're saying within the contract. But I would say for anybody that's interested in becoming an agent, there's different classes you can take. There's so many things, technology. You can go to YouTube. I wouldn't go specific through everything they say on YouTube, but it's so many things between classes and people that are giving advice to be able to become an agent so you can represent a client. The rest of it, I would say, really do research and just learn how to look at legal documents. You have to read. And that's the biggest factor. But you do not have to be a lawyer to be sports agent. You have a good majority of them that may have a law degree, some type of professional degree behind it, but you do not have.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow, that's very interesting.
Yes.
So now what do you think of market value with the players today?
Market value. That's a funny thing, being an athlete. I mean, I feel like a lot of athletes are always undervalued. I would say that part, because it depends on which sports you're playing. And being a football player, well, I know every 3 seconds you have a chance of not playing again. I have athletes now that had a contract and were on a team the week before. Now 3 of them are injured and they're out for the season. And 2 of them have to get on workers' comp. Luckily, they were able to get on workers' comp. I have another one that's not able to. And a lot of these guys, they do a lot of the financials to travel to these teams. The teams don't pay for their flights. They don't pay for their buses. They don't pay for their gas. They don't pay for all these different aspects. And it's the business aspect of everything where I've had a guy go to one team. I'm not going to mention the team or the place, but go to team from his state of Alabama, go across in the Midwest, and then have to travel back because he was released, and then go back, get an opportunity to go to the Southwest, and then he's released again. Just because of the logistics, and he paid his way to get there. The team didn't pay, and I tell him, unfortunately, it's sports business. This is the business side. So I think a lot of athletes, no matter what sports you play, you're undervalued because a lot of sports, I say specifically football, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of anything. You know what I'm saying? Unless you play certain positions. You play quarterback, yes, it's a guarantee. As we see every draft, everybody's first round. But you look at the guys that's at the latter rounds, what do they have a guarantee toward? They luckily get on a practice squad, I think when it comes to sports, a lot of athletes are undervalued, and a lot of people can argue and say, "Oh, you're getting millions of dollars," but you got to understand what the lifestyle is of what you're doing every single day.
Definitely.
I can't name 5 people. I can't name anybody on this hand right here that was a professional athlete that's around me. Probably 1, 2, 3 that I know, but besides, it's a different type of lifestyle. So to build up to be able to do that.
So Barry, what did you want to ask him?
Oh, I got a million questions. But seriously though, back to what have you found? I mean, you sit in a unique seat. You've been the player.
Yes, sir.
Now you're the agent.
Yes,
and
sir.
So in dealing with your athletes, what are like the top 3 challenges in working with these athletes? Now that I like how you put it, to help them understand this is a business. What's the 3 challenges you come up with that you have to wrestle with? And hey guys, I need you to lock in because ABC 1, 2, 3. This ain't college. You ain't on scholarship, as Bill Parcells used to say. You ain't in high school. This is the business.
Okay.
What would you say is your 3 challenges? Top 3 challenges.
I know 2 off the bat. Let me take it to the 3rd one. One would be impulsiveness. Another one would be, and I can get back to the impulsiveness part.
Okay.
Another one would be, I can go ahead to that. Impulsiveness is basically trying to make a decision, and not seeing or seeing the value of the opportunity that's in front of them. You get what I'm saying? Because evaluate the situation between what the team needs, what the athlete, where is this athlete at? Is this athlete ready for NFL? Or is this athlete need some experience, a professional experience in the AFL realm right now because it's springtime? Do they need that AFL experience? Do they need that CFL experience? Everybody is not NFL ready. Everybody can't go to the NFL. Let's be realistic. Everybody can't go to the CFL. But maybe we can wiggle them overseas where they'd be able to make a certain amount of money, career out of it. But impulsiveness, kind of like getting the opportunity and saying, well, I don't want to take that decision. I want to sit here and wait, or get into a situation where they own a team and say, oh, another team is interested in me. Should I go there? Should I jump on that? Not realizing like what their goal is. And that's always the first conversation I have before I sign a client. What is your goal? But not realizing that conflicts with their goal. Another one would be kind of like it ties to that, having too much of a high expectation of what they're going to receive or where they should be at. Of course, ego. And I tell them not to get caught up in the ego part, because of course we all believe we're the best cornerback, we're the best safety. And I believe that all day long. I was running 4.39 at 205, and I was like, okay, I'm the best safety corner. My guy is Deion Sanders, best corner. Who was my guy that I looked up to? Troy Polamalu, Sean Taylor. Yeah. These guys I looked up to. So they were the upper echelon of their game. So I believe I'm that guy. So with that being said, the ego part of having a high expectation, like, hey, I should be here, but not understanding fully. Yeah, you should be there, but there's a process. You have to progress there. Everybody doesn't go straight to the NFL. Everybody doesn't get drafted. You have a lot of free agents. Statistically, there's over 10,000 plus athletes that come out of college every year, and they're competing for your job. They compete for you.
Oh yeah.
So you know, that ego, that high expectation, and I guess another one would be those are the main two. The other one, another third one would probably be like getting emotionally tied to situations. You know what I'm saying? You get released from that's the business, but you get emotionally tied to the business that you don't understand that they're going on, and you're still talking about them. You're still living in the light of what they did to you compared to preparing yourself for the next opportunity. And I've had that time. I had that situation with guys on my agency. I have to say, hey, we need to get yourself together. Like we have other opportunities. God is going to bless you. If you're supposed to be at a certain place, he's going to put you in that certain place. You needed to maybe be released for a certain period, certain reason. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand, you know, the process and the progress of anything and everything that we do in life. So, you know, that's another whole aspect of everything dealing with having a agency. Yes, sir.
Wow. That's so interesting because I was watching, you know, one of those Hard Knocks, and it was coming out of the Detroit. And one of the guys, he was a receiver, and he just had a very positive attitude.
Yes, sir.
He had talent, you know, but he had this positive attitude, right? And even though they eventually released him, you know, he hugged coach, thanked him for the opportunity, but you could see coach was like, man, his attitude is so great. If there's a way for me to get this guy back, I'm going to get it. You know, so as I'm listening to you, that's kind of what rang in my ear. And guess what? Because people were watching Hard Knocks and saw his attitude, guess who picked him up? The Giants. And to your point, how important it is to be humble, because he was very humble, you know, and even though he was a Detroit, he had a game that he didn't maximize the opportunity. Probably if he would have fully maximized, I think he dropped a ball or two, he'd have been a lock, you know, but he didn't. And but he kept a great attitude, was a great teammate, ran, you know, real fast, could run the routes. But I think to your point, a lot of athletes don't realize, am I coachable?
Oh, most definitely.
Do I get in my feelings? Am I a good teammate? Because oftentimes that's what can get you on a team.
Oh yeah. Professionalism over talent all day long. Because everybody's talented on the football field. The worst player can make a good play. The best player can make a horrible play. But the professionalism, and that's why I try to teach my guys through the agency, is that the professionalism, the way that you carry yourself. I'm going to get you to where you need to get to. I'm going to get you in front of these guys. It's up to you to lock it in, to get everything going to the next level. And that's the professionalism side. Between, I mean, my guys, if I talk to a coach right now and he gets signed, I'm going to reach out on the behalf of not only my agency, but on the behalf of my athlete and thank that coach again. And then I'm going to thank the organization. And then I'm going to thank the president. Because once again, it's bigger than just the athlete also. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to set the tone for other athletes that are going to come, other athletes that are going to come behind them. So, and then plus on top of that, it shows I want to have them with credibility. So if the worst case scenario does happen and that coach has to release this player, I want him to think about that player and say, hey, I know somebody else that needs a cornerback right now. Let me give him a call or let me give his agent a call and see if we can forward that information over to him. Because at the end of the day, references, just like any other thing that we do job-wise, are the best thing that we can have. compared to just having talent, because everybody has talent, so professionalism, of course, is always key.
Man, this is so juicy. I can't believe we got to wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
Agent Brayboy, we didn't even scratch the surface with you.
I know. Right?
We're going to have to talk offline, but we'd like to have you come back, and because I got a whole sheet here, like the Wizard of Oz, of questions and insight and perspective that so you can share with our listeners. So we're going to set that up. But Joe, did I get it right this time, Joe? Did I get it right?
Yeah, you did all right.
But again, listen, Brother Brayboy, thank you so much for taking the time out. Your wealth of knowledge.
Yes,
absolutely. Your wealth of knowledge. I mean, there's the whole thing we didn't touch about the CFL. What's different? The NFL, the arena leagues, the XFL. What is the minimums, minimums per position? Is there, do you just deal with cornerbacks? Do you deal with linemen? Do you deal with everybody?
Everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. The specialties and, who, how do you handle training? How do you, back to the money, that's my favorite part. Let's talk about the money, and helping guys understand the money, because people don't really realize you broke in high school, you're typically broke in college, and then you can step into a situation that you're sitting on $1.5 million.
Easy.
And all of it, all of a sudden, if you don't, to your point, got your head locked on right and realize, okay, this is 1.5 million. This ain't 15 million. This ain't 115 million. It's 1.5. And Uncle Sam gets half. So it ain't really 1.5.
Yes,
so
sir.
How do I manage that? Right? I remember reading an article in the wrap up being Bledsoe, and he talked about it. He said, I went from a broke college, 2 parents, both teachers, broken college, signed my first NFL contract, looked at my checking account, and I had $15 million.
Well,
you see, you know what I mean? And then people don't understand, and this is what really bugged me out when a friend of mine said to me, who played in the NFL, Barry, we only get 17 checks. So whatever you make is in 17 checks for the season. I said, excuse me? He says, yeah, that's it. It's not like bi-weekly. No, they don't work like that. It's game checks, and that's it. But hey, Smarterfan family, this is just the beginning. We've got a great, we got more coming for you. Joe, I'm getting better. You still got 100 and I still get 1, but I'm trying, Joe. I'm trying. And so again, thank you, Agent Brayboy. And we'll talk again.
And it was a pleasure meeting you.
Same here.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So as we say, Joe, Smarterfan podcast, stay in the game.
That's right.
Good night.
And have a good night.
Have a good
Smarterfan.